Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. You'll see it, I think, in one of the corners, and that way you can get notified for more content in the future. Today we're talking about Murph and my Murph strategy. So for the first time in 10 years, I'm doing it solo. Yeah, it's a little daunting to say the least. I've always enjoyed doing Murph in an actual box because you have the camaraderie and the kind of the mutual suffering. But I thought there was probably nothing more appropriate this year than to do it solo. So I committed myself to doing it. So here's my strategy I thought I'd share with you guys. First one was get up early. It's gonna be 80 degrees here in Cleveland. And if any of you guys have ever been former runners or have run marathons or half marathons like myself, you know that as that temperature rises, it does terrible things to your body. Not that running does it anyway, but it gets even worse in that capacity. So I decided to do it early. It's gonna be warm here. And so running early is a big key to this strategy. The second one is, and this isn't really a strategy as much as it's necessity, I'll be doing all the work here in the basement. So this year I'm doing it unpartitioned. For those of you that are uninitiated to Murph, Murph is basically a mile run, 100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, 300 air squats, and another mile run, all wearing a 20-pound vest or pack. And there's a number of ways you can break it up. I'm doing it unpartitioned, meaning I'm doing it straight through. And because of that, my pull-up bar is here in the basement or in my home gym. And so I'll be doing the bulk of the work down here, which is actually an advantage for me because it's cooler down here than it is outside. So at a minimum, I'll get a little bit of a break from any kind of heat or humidity before I go back out and do my second run. So that's my strategy this year. I also put together my handy dandy counting chart. I use this little whiteboard here in the basement when I'm working out. You can see I've got pull-ups here, push-ups, and air squats. And so I'll mark them off in groups of 10 for the first two and groups of 15 for the air squats as I go. It'll just keep me honest and help me keep count. I don't know if you guys have bad CrossFit math like me, but when I start to get tired, 15 suddenly becomes 30. So I figure this will be the easiest way to keep myself honest on the reps. And I've already mapped out the run. I've run this neighborhood so many times, I can tell you exactly where the mile marker is to get out there and back for the run. So that part I'm not concerned with. For those of you that are gonna do it, the biggest suggestion I would give to you guys today is really make a determination whether you're gonna RX it or scale it. I'm a huge proponent of scaling. Most of you guys that follow me on Instagram know this. And I really want to encourage that here. Murph is a beast of a workout. It really is from end to end. I think there's an argument to be made for kind of suffering during a hero WOD and having an opportunity to remember those that have come before us and have made the ultimate sacrifice for us. But there's also a point in which you're just being dumb and going to hurt yourself. So if you haven't been doing a significant number of push-ups a week, if you haven't been running at all, if you don't do a lot of squats or pull-ups, don't put on the vest and try to RX this one. You guys know your body as well, obviously far better than I do. So, you have got to make the decision that's best for you. But, this isn't a time to show off and to, try to do something you're not necessarily capable of. First year I did Murph, I did half of it and it was plenty. And second year I did it, I did the whole thing, but I walked a significant portion of the runs, and if I'm remembering right, it took me 55 minutes or so to get all the work done. And then in previous years, I've broken it up into, rounds of Cindy in the middle, and done a lot of different things to scale it. And then I've had years where I've RX'd it like this year. So this year I feel pretty fit and prepared and ready to go. And so I'm going to RX it, but that's me. So, please, listen to your body, do what's best for you. Don't wreck your Memorial Day by doing more than you can, because that's really, really easy to do. With that said, make sure you dress like a douche. So that's important. I've got my red, white, and blue socks on. I have, wherever it is here, I have my red, white, and blue headband that will probably double as a mask as I'm out running. So that's important. You got to make sure all your neighbors know you do CrossFit. Make sure you shout to them when they say, hey, what are you doing? You go, I'm CrossFitting. You got to yell that real loud. It's important. And try to have some fun with it. Because particularly if you get the opportunity to do this with your friends, there is a lot of value in the shared suffering and the camaraderie of the community, which I think we're all probably missing quite a bit. Last thing I didn't show you guys is I do have a bag, and it probably doesn't bode well that I just grunted before I picked it up, but prove to you I'll be wearing a 20-pound bag as I'm running. I don't have a vest, but I do have this Go Ruck bag that I got at the games last year. It also has my logo on it. These are not for sale, nor will they ever be for sale. It's the old logo. But yeah, so we'll see. This is the infamous bag that everybody got bloody on. It's also the one, if you guys remember, that Frazier was wearing when the weight fell out. So if I'm lucky, I'll pull a Frazier and my weight will come out and I just won't go back for it, but we'll see. The people at Go Ruck did teach me how to wear this properly, so fingers crossed I don't come away bloody and scabbed. So let's get after it, and I'll give you guys a debrief when I'm done. Whew. All right, I'm done. And let me give you guys the debrief. Tell you how it went, maybe give you guys some advice. So first piece of advice, before you go out, change into some sick Lululemon like this, because there's nothing you want more than to look like a suburban soccer mom running through the neighborhood. My neighbors really appreciated that. Went well with my red, white, and blue socks. Second piece of advice is don't go too hot on that first run. My runs were actually really good. I did an 8-minute first mile, 8:23 on the second. I didn't feel like I went out too hot. I came in like I intended to run about 30 seconds slower than I would normally run without the bag. And I think that's the right way to go about it. I did that. I just kind of surprisingly came in faster than I intended to, but I felt really good. I wasn't winded. Full disclosure, I've been doing a boatload of C2 biking. I bike probably 10 to 30K a day, every single day. So I think my lung capacity is higher than it's been in years past. Second piece of advice I would give you is once you come in, you get on those pull-ups, like you have to make a choice depending on what you're stronger on, pull-ups or push-ups. I'm stronger on pull-ups. I actually made an error here. I should have gone hard into those pull-ups, meaning like bigger sets, moving faster, shorter breaks. I didn't do that. I kind of intended to come in and said, all right, I'm gonna partition this thing into minutes, even though I'm doing the entire thing unpartitioned. I'm gonna give myself, kind of 10 minutes for the first section, 10 minutes for the second, 15 to 20 for the third. And that was really a mistake. Like I should have gone hard in those pull-ups, gotten out of those as fast as I could and get into the push-ups, because when I got into the push-ups, I was taking big breaks, like really, really, really big breaks. And it was just I was surprised at how exhausted I was in those, because I do a lot of push-ups. The rucksack, I didn't have it tight enough, and it was running up to the back of my neck. And I felt like it was pushing me forehead down into the ground, which is not a good thing when you're doing push-ups. And it just really slowed me down. It did give me a sick arm pump though, so that's good. Once I got through the push-ups, the air squats I learned, and this would be a big tip for you guys if you're able to do it. I was doing sets of 15, which I think most people do. I got through 45 to 60, and then I started doing a pause at the top. So I would go down. When I'd come up, I'd pause slightly, so like half a second, back down, up, pause, down, up, pause. And I was able to do sets of 30 to 45. I don't know how much time that saved me, but there's no transition, obviously. And so I feel like that saved me several minutes in the entire workout. And truthfully, it felt like I was giving my legs a break. And so that second run wasn't as exhausting as runs have been for me in the past. Like usually when I do Murph, that second run destroys me, or I'm just, like I'm walking half of it. And I wasn't doing that this time. Like I wasn't winded. My legs felt pretty fresh. I want to say maybe the first 400 meters were a little tight, but they weren't bad. And my bag didn't feel tight from the bag. The other thing I did, because I was wearing a rucksack instead of a vest and there's no weight on the front, is I would take my hands and I would loop them in and pull that weight in tight to my back on the squats to keep it level when that bag was moving around on my back, because I just didn't have it quite tight enough. It's really making those squats difficult, and I was starting to feel it tug a little bit on my lower back, which I don't like too much. But all in all, like those would be my big tips for you. I would tell you, you got to find which set you're good in and go hard at it, and then the others, just small sets. This is if you're doing it unpartitioned. Otherwise, like whatever way you choose to do it, just celebrate it, enjoy it. Try to keep in mind as you're suffering through it. Like I got about halfway through that thing and thought, man, I could tap out and go upstairs and make a coffee and sit on the couch. And I try to keep in mind the reason why we do Murph, and kind of that hour of suffering that you've put yourself through, and remember some people have done so much for us. So I would highly suggest getting out and doing it with your friends. Celebrate it, enjoy your freedoms, enjoy the time with your friends and family. And if you're doing it solo like me, try to use it as a time of reflection and a little bit of suffering for whatever that's worth. And then after that, go eat a hamburger, fries, pizza, whatever you want to eat on Memorial Day, and enjoy yourself because you get the day off. So with that, check back on the channel this week. I'm gonna have a lot of good content for you. We're gonna do some product reviews. We'll have a couple more podcasts dropping this week, and lots of fun stuff. So with that, have a great Memorial Day. We'll see you guys soon.